and Zwift Community Live. My name is Jesper Anker, and I'm joined by Wesley Sulzberger. How are you, Wes?
I'm good. I like the accent on your name there, Jesper. We are in the Western Series. We had a really powerful finish to the Eastern Series just earlier on. It would come right down to the wire there, Jesper, and it was almost a photo finish with Jones edging out Ockerby.
It was incredible, and looking at the photo finish, it was Oliver Jones in front of Luke Ockerby. But since Ollie is a Kiwi, he can take his spoils, he can win an Elite Dorito in the Kiwi Tour, but that's not the case in the KISS eCrit. Australian eCrit is the keyword, the ones that's underlined like 5 times. Aussie, Australian, us mate. But we're now in the Western eCrit, and speaking of Aussies, I see Oliver Jones is again on the start line, so he's going to try to do the double today.
Yeah, he's going to do the double, the old Bumblebee outfit he is rocking. So even with all these custom avatars and different kits going around, he sticks with that Bumblebee. He's true to his Bumblebee outfit. And Jones is one of those riders who loves to make sure that everyone gets a bit of pain on their face. He's one of those riders that does that stop starting, those attacking, and usually always seems to dwindle down the bunch. So Jones, very aggressive rider. He probably should be feeling a little bit sort of tender in the legs from that last effort he did. He was up the road with Pat Shaw and a few other strong riders early on in the race, and then sat back in, recovered a few more attacks, and then had the power to come over Ockerby right at the end.
He did. So we got Cook, we got Simpson, we've got Hoshkin, Ciano, Jeffrey, and Oliver Jones today. The usual suspects out on course today. You know, every journalist for the last few years, since Contador tried the double, have said the double is impossible. Well, Oliver Jones is going to prove that it is possible to do the double. He's going to do the eCrit double, the most prestigious double out there. Did you ever attempt to do the double, Wes?
No, I don't think I've ever attempted to do the double. I have done two Zwift races in the one day. I know that I'm pretty sure it was Jeffrey Keel who was doing races at 1 a.m. and then was that Keel that was doing it at 1 a.m. and then one at 7
p.m. and one at 9 p.m. in one day.
Yeah, so there are some very committed riders out there. One rider that isn't out there tonight is my old favourite. Hocus Pocus is not there tonight, is he, Jesper?
No. John O'Bates has put down the call for his friends and family to take over and carry the torch because John O'Bates is on family vacation during the eCrit. Oh, sometimes you just wish you had better planning. But John O'Bates, he was making his way up the standings. He recovered from his broken hand as Detective Sherlock West was on the case and figured that one out. But he's now gone on family vacation, and fortunately there is no Hocus Pocus tonight.
No Hocus Pocus, but we will see some good attacks. Richard Cook up there. Obviously, Ben Simpson out in front leading the series. He's had a few little weeks of illness and been a little bit unwell, but he's looking to make sure that he holds in with a bunch tonight and get amongst this action. We do see a decent-sized group here tonight, Jasper, too, and probably some new names in there, hopefully, as well.
See, this is the thing about the Western eCrit. It's so populated with riders from around the world because it's later in the day for the European scene, meaning we're going to see riders from Great Britain, we're going to see riders from France, Germany, Spain, Italy. They're going to show up and they're going to join. So it's a bit diluted today, it's populated, but the majority of the riders, not from Australia. But that doesn't matter. Pedestrians can join in, they can get a good workout. I mean, following some of the Aussies' finest, it's not an easy task out there in course as they try to burn those calories. So looking at the course, Jeffrey Keel has won the last, I believe, 5 races. Sorry, no, correct. Jeffrey has raced 8 times in the Western eCrit. He has won every single one of them. 100% win rate for Jeffrey Keel in the Western eCrit. He's definitely the man to beat. But we're coming to the end of the 2 divisions. Going into the finale, it's going to be merged. West versus East, East versus West. How do you think Jeff will match up against Ockerby, Dunn, Savatsky, Shaw?
I think Jeffrey is quite a strong rider, and I think he'd need that sort of breakaway situation. Obviously Ockerby's the quickest by far, but with the racing, it will be interesting to see what happens with the racing, whether it's just 10 riders nutting it out amongst themselves. That's yet to be confirmed. It will be confirmed by Glenn Knight of KISS Racing. So, yeah, we might see a little bit of a tactics come into play here of how things will pan out, because those riders will, obviously Keel would be looking to go on the attack to try and win there. You wouldn't want to hang around for a sprint finish. And he's that sort of aggressive racer. And we have seen him win solo, I think, 3 to 4 times on this course, and has sat in a couple of times and gone for the sprint. But he certainly has that power, and he's not afraid to show it.
Man, think about that finale. Think about Pat Shaw, Jeffrey Keel, attacking off the front. Depending who else out of the East? No, I think it's only Pat Shaw who could really shake things up in an attack, unless hashtag wildcard for Nazi happens. It's gonna be Pat Shaw and Jeffrey trying to light things up, as the current standings are. But if you were to choose which course they would have to race on and how many laps it would be, which course would you set for the final?
I'd probably, if I had to set it, I'd probably go with the Volcano circuit with that uphill finish. We've seen some really, really gnarly finishes, but then tonight we just got just as gnarly finish. The riders sprinted from 900 meters out, so it was a really, really awesome finish. So any one of these courses, we're going to see some fireworks, especially coming down to the finale. There will be some riders that really want to make sure they finish on that top step.
Still, 900 meters. In professional cycling, you usually got your lead-out man leading you out, and then 200 meters to go, bam, you win. In Herning, in Denmark, for the European Championship, Christoph and Viviani sprinted for a mere 100 meters. That's all they did because it was into a block headwind. Pat Shaw, Jones, Ockerby, Savatsky, and the rest of the buds, 900 meters. I'm never going to get over that, Wes, because you know why? I love sprints, and that's the most outrageous sprint I've seen since Kittle's win at the Tour this year.
I think we'll probably see next week that they'll start going under the arch. So we'll come up to this 1 kilometre to go banner, and they will probably start sprinting, because it wasn't far after they passed under that they started the sprint.
I mean, they've got to do everything to try and shake it up. And the good advantage of having the same course 3 times in a row is that you start to learn the course, you start to perfect the course, you know where to attack, how the others will react, and then you can adjust every week. Because you saw Tom Aliff, your good teammate and friend at WP TAS, he attacked too early. Next time? Maybe later?
Yeah, he attacked early and sort of went on that, sort of catching them off guard, but then also with that attacking a little bit later, the riders are onto it. It's in that danger zone where he got that little bit of a gap going out in the long range attack. With that couple of K to go, they caught them off guard almost a little bit. Everyone was looking at each other, and he was the one to jump away with the power air up and actually got out to a 7-second gap, and that's quite a gap, isn't it, Jesper?
On Zwift, it's a big gap. I mean, even for Zwift, 3 seconds can be enough of a gap to maintain all the way to the finish. Because we have the guy that showcases that all the time. Jeffrey, he just powers it on the front, he gets a few seconds, and then he's just gone. They just never see him again. I am just getting word, though, that Ollie Jones is doing his 3rd race of the night. And that is actually the
third race. Oliver Jones. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. You go with that. What happened with Oliver?
So he raced the Elite Kiwi Tour Stage 2, which was the London 8 course. So that's both Fox Hill and Box Hill. That was this morning. Then about an hour ago, he raced the eCrit series, the Eastern one. He won that. And now he's on par to do his 3rd race of the day. Oliver Jones, the man.
Did he win the Kiwi series as well?
He finished 3rd. Let's see who he finished behind. In the Kiwi series, guess who he lost to?
On the podium.
Yes. But technically he finished 2nd because the winner was Chinese.
Okay.
Who do you think Ollie Jones lost to?
Oh, I don't know.
He's in this race right now. He's in the Western race right now. Oliver Jones finished 2nd behind Jeffrey Keel. And they're getting a rematch right now.
Keel keeping it real. Here we go. We see Jones going out on his own now. He's heard the shout out. He knows he likes to be aggressive. He's spread his bumblebee wings and is out and amongst it. Look like Jesper is getting a little bit hungry watching Oliver Jones go out after him. Now Keel is after him, out behind that wheel, come around the hairpin here. It looks like he's going to close that gap. The bunch looks like they're going to start to spread up there. As Keel rocking the beard and the man bun by the looks of it with the new avatar there. Yeah, look at that. That is an Aero man bun right there. No helmet required. He's got that Aero man bun lid going on right now with the shades on there. So up onto the back of the wheel of that bumblebee, and he said, I'm not letting you go anywhere.
I can't believe you noticed the beard, you noticed the shades, but have you seen those socks? Those socks! Wow. I mean, a vote of confidence right there from Jeffrey. If you can rock those socks, you can rock anything. He is the ultimate hipster.
It is quite cool. So if you're unaware, you can now customize your avatar on Zwift. You can make them have a mohawk. That's a pretty cool little funky style there with a bit of blonde tips in the front.
Like
Some
Ben
of these other riders
Simpson.
are opting... Oh, it's Ben Simpson opting to ride with a helmet on as well. So you can mix it up and mix and match. I've got some new shades in there as well. You can go for the casual look with those casual hipster shades. And we do see that Keel and Jones are going on with this again now. So they've done the little dummy that the bunch was coming back together, and now they decided to take it up against each other again. So they're comparing how long each other's stem here. They're having a big race out here. See who's got the longest stem on their bike.
Oh man, this is going to be shaping up to be a good race. Because I don't think Jeffrey's going to be able to give Jones the slip. He may have raced 3 times today, but Jones raced the Tour of Flanders under 23 earlier this year. He's also been numerous occasions all over Europe. Oliver Jones is the real deal, and I know as soon as I saw Zwift Academy Dimension Data launch, and it offered an under 23 contract, I hit up Oliver Jones. I'm like, Ollie, I mean, this is made for you, mate. Come on, this is your calling. And he's like, yeah, Jesper, I'm already all over it. He's in the Facebook group, he's in the Strava group, he enrolled. He is all ready to rock on September 1st when Zwift Academy officially launches. Wes, what do you think about that, by the way?
Jones, well, I think that is definitely the best move. If he can get in amongst this and hold this power he's doing in these Zwift races and placing and winning a lot of them as well, then he has a good shot of trying to get in that the top 10 for that will go across to South Africa for a training camp with Dimension Data. So they'll get to be part of amongst the pro team there at the training camp. So that's pretty special in itself. And then that will nut down to the last rider who will be offered a contract with the under 23 pro team. So that is a very once in a lifetime opportunity to have that opportunity to join up to the feeder team to Dimension Data is pretty big, and from there you could sign pro. So that's pretty special, and I'm sure Jones is in a good sitting to try and put himself up there inside that top 10 and get that trip over South Africa for that training camp.
If we go back 40 years to when you were an under 23 rider, Wes, and you were battling to get that new bike. I remember the story you told me where your dad said, Wes, if you win this race, you get a bike or whatever. You've got to win it. Would you have entered Zwift Dimension Data Team Zwift Academy? I just butchered the name. But would you have entered the Zwift Academy?
I definitely would have got in amongst the Zwift Academy. I wouldn't have thought that that this is the way that some of the cycling is going now with this online virtual racing. These races, even though they're racing virtually, they're still absolutely putting the power on the pedals. So it doesn't matter that it's racing virtually, it still requires an absolute amount of power that these riders have to put out. So we will see in the finale, hopefully, that the power these riders have to put out and the pain and the faces of these riders that, to maintain these wattage and, the heart rates are up around that maximum heart rate. We see 178 here now, that stopping, starting of the racing, just absolutely boosting that lactic acid, and they just continue on with it.
Whew, I'm impressed by Roop Walsh. For a second, it looked like he had a fro. For a second, it looked like Roop Walsh had an afro. But he's actually in the front, considering that Cook and Simpson are out the back, as well as Ciano. Ciano is not a rider to usually be caught off guard, but today he is. Jeff and Rupert riding off into the sunshine together.
Yeah, Rupert usually always likes to go with those moves as well. He doesn't mind following attack, Rupert. So Rup is sitting in that second place overall. So he's on the 193 points. So he's definitely showing that he's going to secure his spot within this series. Cook now has to lift his game for the next couple of races if he wants to try and make sure that he sticks in that top three, or move back towards that top three in a 172 points. So it is going to start to play out a little bit these next couple of weeks, whether Cook and also Mikey H just a little bit below Rupert Walsh, 189 points. So all these riders trying to dwindle into this top three. Obviously, Ben Simpson out on 272 points, so Ben won't be caught and has secured his spot. And the other riders for that top three positions is going to go, so the other two positions left over is going to really nut it out now. So Rupert Walsh giving himself a good showing to hold that position he's in now in second place.
I bet though he's in a world of pain because he's got to follow Ollie and Jeff out there for a good more 35 minutes out more on course left to go. And like, to be fair, to be honest, completely honest, Zwift racing is so much harder than real life racing because you've got to keep that chain, you got to keep it tight. There's not a single second of freewheeling on Zwift. There just isn't. In real life, I'm doing a crit later tonight. There's a massive downhill section, and like, all you can do is just sit in the draft, freewheel, get some water, another 2 minutes of effort, sit in, 2 minutes of effort, sit in. There's no such thing on Zwift, Wes.
No, you get that little bit of a sit when you're behind someone here, behind the avatars. So if you're unaware that these riders, when they are behind each other, they are getting that like 10 to, I don't know how many percentages, but maybe 10% less effort sitting behind the other riders. So they are getting a draft off each other. But Jones isn't interested in getting a draft off anyone. He's out in front by himself, making sure he's flexing the legs here and showing that he really wants to take this away tonight and go solo.
It's 25%. That is at least what's speculated by the Zwift blog. 25% is saved by sitting in the wheel. And I have noticed this a lot when riding myself. Because you can be in a group like this, you can be turning out 1.5 watts per kilo, and you can follow riders that are going 2.2 to 2.1 actually. And for me, that's high numbers.
That's a huge, yeah. The thing that really comes down to, Jesper, is going with those accelerations. So those accelerations up to 500 to 600 watts, and then settling back down into that sort of 3 to 4.5 watts a kilo. Obviously, the rider then behind would only have to be doing, maybe 3 watts a kilo to stay on the wheel. That's where it comes into it, Jesper. But that starting is where usually the likes of Ben Simpson and Cook are having trouble with that initial acceleration. They can probably hold the power if it's sustained just at a level and picking up slowly, gradually. But when that starting and that power off on, that's what really causes the break in some of the riders' legs. And we see these small groups form. And these riders out in front just sort of won't let up now. And now they've got that gap, they certainly will make sure they keep on the pedals. And they're actually seeing everyone working together here and rolling through now.
They are, because they're trying to keep that group behind them. But Wes, like with the introduction of Zwift and the rise of Zwift, everyone seems to be more and more fixated on their FTP, their functional threshold power. Everyone is like, I gotta hit that magical 4 watts per kilo mark. But for races like this, I totally agree. Now that 5-minute effort is what you gotta work on. Everyone is sitting there just, turning along, I gotta get stronger legs. It's about getting your heart rate spiked, and then getting it down, then spiked and getting it down, right?
Yeah, like a lot of it's a very good name for it with the crit series, because it is like a crit racing, that stop-starting, that high power. The really important is that 2 to 3 minute power in this series, because that's how long usually these sort of attacks, and if the attack does go and come back, then it's usually another attack over the top. So you usually have that 2 to 3 minute zone, and we usually see that out of the start as well. That 2 to 3 minutes, that first 2 to 3 minutes, if you can hang on within those first 2 to 3 minutes, then you've got a fair chance of trying to hang on throughout the race. It's definitely challenging for some of these riders, going above that threshold and then settling back in and then going back above it again.
Do you know where that originated from? That start line sprint? So back in the days, Zwift racing was not organized that well. It was organized, but not at the level we are today with event modules. Back then you said, 5 o'clock, we're going to meet at XY set coordinates, and then we're going to race. So what you did is you made sure you sprinted off that start line, because if your clock was like 2 seconds off or whatever, you get dropped. And if you get dropped, you don't get back on. And then people figure out the best time to make up gaps is actually straight out of the gate. because everyone starts at 0 kilometers an hour and they have to accelerate up to 45 to 50 kilometers an hour. So already there, if you don't have a fast start, the group is split and you're done. Within a minute, you've already limited half the competition. Zwifters are smart.
Zwifters have that intelligence, and we do see a lot of these people using Zwift as a good tool for the outdoor racing as well. So some of these guys are now, especially during the winter here in Australia, are using Zwift as a great training tool and also as great racing on here. Like we can see this series is just taking off here. These racers are using these races also for the outdoor races. So we have got some cyclocross races that also race on the cyclocross scene here in Melbourne. They have one of a weekend, and we are seeing some riders even using the track to get a bit of speed. So Ockerby, who's been winning lately, has been using speed, and we see some speed here now by Kuehl with Jones after him now. So Jones is taking up that chase, and it looks like it's very strung out behind now, Jesper.
Yes, this is Jones and Kuehl going off the front. All Roop can do now is sit in and hope for the best. They're about 6 seconds behind them, but I don't think Kuehl and Jones are going to let up. This is the move. They wanted to get rid of that extra baggage because this flight is not allowing any more bags on here, because now Kuehl and Jones are off the front and now they can just start working together. And because ideally they are both in the best case scenario here. GF, no matter what, will win the 20 points near the top. Jones will probably get the win. Do you think they're making any sort of gentleman's agreement? You throw Munder under the table?
No, I don't think there'll be any gentleman's agreement. By the way they were attacking each other early in this race, comparing how long their stems were, they are definitely making sure that they take this on. We do see the other little bit of a group behind now, not actually that far behind Jesper, so they are working together here and trying to bring them back.
But they've shelled out Ruber Walsh. Walsh is no longer following that second group, and he was really overachieving at that point. I say that with the most amount of pride I can do, because we've seen Rupert, and for Rupert to be in that company, man, he must have gotten a VIP ticket. But now he's falling further down, and Ciano, Simpson, and Cook will pick up Ruber Walsh. Walsh is not scared to attack off the front again though, so it could be fine for him. It shows he's got good legs today.
It does show he has good legs, and he definitely won't be scared, and knows that he probably has the upper hand on the others there with that power of staying with these front two riders. Kuehl and Jones are certainly up and amongst it. We see them in the Eastern Series being very competitive. Obviously, Jones winning the race tonight in the Eastern Series and having a race in the Kiwi race series also at the start of the day. So he's got a full-rounded day of racing on Zwift today. Jones has made a start with it early morning and finishing off at late night.
So I have a question now. In Europe, you get summer vacation, about 6 weeks of vacation. Do you get winter vacation 6 weeks in Australia?
Winter vacation? No, that would. I think it's definitely optional. A lot of people do opt to take the holidays or vacation during summer to go to somewhere warm, usually a tropical island. So yeah, we do see some Zwifters even take their trainers with them while they go on holiday to a tropical places. So we did see. Was actually Rupert, wasn't it?
Both Rupert and Anthony Porsche have both found a way to acquire a trainer in very unacquirable situations. So actually, no, the reason why I asked that is because Ollie Jones, I know he's under 23 years of age. I assume when he's not racing, he is getting himself a smart trainer, an education, as you say. And it could be that he's at the end of his vacation. At least that's how I know it is in Europe right now.
Right, so it could be at the end of the vacation, but we won't see these riders taking any vacation here tonight. They were up and amongst it here. Jones is going to be eyeing off Kuehl. He's not going to let him go on a holiday anywhere without him by his side. So they want to make sure that they just lay both on the pool deck here and have a bit of a look at each other, check each other out, and make sure that no one's going to run off with this race. And we see these other two riders here sort of actually getting a little bit of a run-up here as Kuehl dropping off. He's going to do a bit of a shake and bake and use a bit of a run-up there, Jesper. That could be a move and a half here.
He's looking around. Wes, I have been disappointed about the lack of dad jokes the last 2 or 3 weeks, but I think in 2 sentences right there, you just filled up the cookie jar to the top. I mean, you can't even close it anymore. It's that full. I mean, for the live finale, if I remember, I'm going to bring a jar called Wes's Dad Jokes. For every dad joke, You and me will put down $1 towards a good cause. I think that's required. You're gonna look out. You're gonna look out at the audience. You're gonna see everyone sitting like this, going, "Come on."
I'm sure there's going to be plenty of dads. A lot of dads are Zwifters, so I'm sure I'm going to have plenty of support there. Maybe even some people throwing in some extra help there with some dad jokes. So hashtag dad jokes. If you have any, send them my way at Wes_Sulzberger at Twitter. You can contact me there, or on my Facebook page, Wesley Sulzberger.
That's like throwing gasoline on the fire. It's not helping, guys.
There was a really good one, actually. I did throw it out there on the, I think it was just on the Zwift page on Facebook, one of the main Zwift pages. I think it's Zwift Riders. There's, I think, 30,000 riders on there. It was an American post. A rider put a picture of a massive big fan that was in a department store, in a hardware store. And yeah, so I did say that he looks like he's a huge fan of Zwift, and then hashtag dad joke.
Do you know in the old cartoons they had like the end of the umbrella where they could like hook a guy off the stage?
Yeah, to get him
right
off.
About now is the time to do that. Halfway through the race almost. The racers have they're on pace to beat the time of the Eastern eCrit, but I think it's going to slow down now that Oliver Jones and Jeffrey are looking around. Further back, Ruben Walsh is stuck in no man's land, but he's about to be caught by the chasing group behind, which for him has been a smart move, sitting up and trying to get the heart rate down. 23 seconds is the gap. Do you think they'll come back together?
23 seconds is a fair amount of distance here. I can't see it coming back now. Who's going to really take up that chase unless someone decides to try and attack Rupert now while he's a little bit vulnerable? If he hasn't fully recovered, they may try to turn the screws up on him a little, but it would be a very hard move to try and distance yourself from Rupert after going with those strongest guys here. And these guys here behind have been working together as well. So I don't think we'll see anything happen back here. I don't think that they'll be able to come back now unless Jones and Keel start to do a bit more cat and mouse and try to save their legs a bit more. It could start to come back down, but I don't reckon that would happen.
I think the race is on for second place behind there because the current overall invitation standings, you could almost call them, I do believe it says 3 from the West is what's currently being speculated, still awaiting official confirmation from race organizer Glenn and Knight, but Richard Cook is in 4th place. He is 17 points behind Mikey Yates to get that invitation. So every single point that Richard Cook can gather will put him higher up in the standings because Jeffrey Keel is looking poised to take another 20 points today, move him up to 180 points. So it really comes down to who's going to get the final invitation. Is it going to be Rupert Walsh or Richard Cook? There's a man-to-man fight for the last 6 races. You've got to show up every Tuesday if you're those 2 riders.
Yeah, and I'm sure if they have any vacations planned, they may be rescheduling because those points are tight and they want to make sure that they are rocking up each week because there's not that many points left. So they've got to make them count now. And we see Jones going on the attack here, is it?
He was actually
dropped.
dropped.
He's dropped. So maybe there was a problem there because it looks like he's coming back with huge force onto the group here. So he may have had power dropout or something going on there. He may have had a call for that neutral service. But we see go back to the front now, rocking the Bumblebee and making sure that he's saying to the guys that I am here and I had some trouble, but no worries, I'm back in the bunch.
He was just playing peekaboo with the bunch. That's what he was doing. But Jeff, it looked like Jeff attacked over the top, and either Oliver was busy conversing with a family member or, I don't know, messing with the mechanics, but he definitely was dropped. He was forced to get back on, but now Jeff is doing the smart thing of counterattacking when Jones is trying to recover from his previous attack, and you can see he's definitely wounded right now out on course. He's damaged by that earlier attack, and he's only able to put out 7 watts per kilo now, and his heart rate is through the roof, Wes.
Yeah, 180 here, so he's still holding up close to, that high 90s cadence here and holding constantly on that nearly 500, just over. So this is really hurting Jones now. This is the first time we've seen Jones in a little bit of trouble here, and Keel is really winding up the screws.
Man, If only Jones was Australian. Imagine the glory the finale would have been. This guy is a machine. He's a monster. And the thing is, if you are the Eastern eCrit, are you watching this race right now? Are you trying to spy on Jeffrey Keel? Because they don't have the pleasure or the pain of riding with Jeff every week. They have to actually watch him.
Yeah, that's it. They have to tune in and watch this racing. But Keel's rocking the man bun with the Tron bike, so he's got a bit of a style, a bit of swagger going about his setup. Like I said earlier, if you're unaware, you can customize your avatar now. You can give him a beard, you can give him a man bun, give him a mohawk. You've got lots of options. You can do different sock heights. So really get in there and customize your avatar and share it with other Zwifters. I've seen some really good ones on the Zwift Riders page. But back to Keel, leading them through here. Jones rolling through. But these riders now, it's coming down to that nitty-gritty, over that halfway point almost now. And these other riders back here will not come back together from my guessing now, Jesper.
Man, talking about good-looking kids. The Aussie Hop Day ride has matching socks in the game. How unfair is that? The orange socks perfectly matches the kit, which we all know nowadays, socks matching the kit, more important than anything else you can do on the bike.
That's it. So some of these riders really like to make sure they're matchy-matchy. But those nice, look at that nice orange with the blue there. So that Aussie Hump Day, we've zoomed in on Simpson here. Got nice cadence going there. He's close to that 90 mark, so that's good. Nice move by Ben Simpson. And Ben is, if anyone's unaware, is the current leader of this series. So Ben has rocked up nearly to every one of these races and has actually placed a few times early on in the series, and now we've seen the likes of Keel and also Oliver Jones getting amongst it here. Has put a little bit on the back foot, but he's still rocking up each week and collecting those points and getting amongst this action. So Ben Simpson is doing a great job throughout this series, the overall leader at this time.
See, I think we might have to get the fashion police on the case, because despite having matching socks, what is that abomination of a color of the Trek on the Trek Madone, Ben Simpson? Everything is up to par, but you're gonna have a lime green Trek Madone matching your orange and white kit? I mean, I think I can hear the sirens right now. That is the fashion police is on their way. That needs to be settled out before the finale.
Well, just a little insight there that Ben Simpson usually actually uses his wife's bike while he races, so he just adjusts the seat height. And we did see some photos on that when we asked everyone to share their setup. So interesting setup. They're almost obviously the same size for bikes there. So he was finding that it was working better with his wife's bike, the position. So I think he stuck with that for a while. So everyone's got their own setup, and obviously we'd like to see if you have any really interesting setups, send them over to the Oz Zwift page and tag in us to make sure, tag in either myself or Wesley Sulzberger. You can find me at Wesley Sulzberger or Jesper Anker, and let us see your setups. We have seen some ones that are out on the balcony, Jesper, like we said earlier. I'd like to see some other interesting ones. If anyone got a really interesting man cave, if they got some other memorabilia hanging up around there, that would be interesting to see. So send them in, and I'm sure Jesper will send in some sort of photo of him in the pain cave of his own.
Yep, I will do. My pain cave, though, is more like the pain living room. It is so painful. And I work, I ride, I live. That's the student life, or that's the young life. That's how it's supposed to be, the bachelor life. But I mean, you know what Ben Simpson should have done when he said he was racing on a woman's bike. He should have went out, bought a second-hand woman's bike. You know, one of those where like the frame goes down and it bends up, and you've got the handlebars way out. He should have put that on the kicker, taken a picture, and be like, "Hey guys, this is how I've gotten into the lead of the eCrit series so far." That would have been a mental game right there. That would have been cool.
That would have been good. Yeah, and I think some sort of streamers on the handlebars and the old school bell.
You can do.
We did see back when they had there was a few comps running on the Zwift bike. It was a trike that you could have. You had to ride a trike 100 miles, I think it was. Just
you could lay down the tricycle, and you like, oh, That was actually, the mission was so cool because not only did you ride a bicycle or tricycle in the game, whoever won the mission were invited out to the Long Beach Zwift office and got to hand out 100 tricycles to kids in need of bikes. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That's a really good cause and a bit of fun at the same time. So yeah, two birds, one stone there.
I'm just questioning, do they make tricycles in like an XL size?
There are some the other drifters, they call them. How they're like a trike, but they're drifters. So I think that's sort of what it was from memory when they were on here. So they actually have the front wheel is like a normal bike tire, and then the back wheel is plastic, so they slide around.
Sounds like a playground toy.
Have you not seen one before?
I will honestly say I have not seen one before. I ride with real bikes. Sorry,
they were quite popular. Probably, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago or more. They were everyone's Christmas present for younger generation.
Maybe
so we see Jones actually getting a bit distance here now. So off the back again here. So we did see him have to do a little bit of a chase earlier. So he's going to have to go through these riders here. Or no, sorry, that's Keel in behind him. I thought Keel was out in front. So he's just come back to that group again. So I'm not sure why he seemed to keep dropping off there. So the Bumblebee maybe have a little bit of sting taken out of him here. And we'll have to see whether Keel is going to wind up those screws on him again and really keep the pressure on him.
I'm impressed on how you segued from 5 years ago Christmas presents to Oliver Jones and difficulties. That was top-notch work by Wesley Sulzberger, who is commentating with me tonight. Oliver Jones is back in there, but you've got to be feeling it in the legs at this point. I mean, the race he won in the eCrit, the 900-meter sprint. Yes, I will not let that go. 900-meter sprint. There is lactic acid.
It was a very long sprint, and that lactic acid will be just flowing with a 900-meter sprint. I don't think with just the two of them battling out tonight we'll see a sprint that long, but will we? We won't know. We'll have to wait and see whether these riders want to try and take it on, but I reckon they will start to light it up on that hill and try and distance each other then and try and get that aero man bun down in that nice tuck with that Tron bike. Keel will try and keep himself up and amongst it and try and take the win.
Oh man, you know what? I reckon Jeffrey is just toying with Oliver right now. Jeffrey has got the experience. He's raced the UCI Gran Fondo Masters Series. He knows what it's like having pressure when there's something on the line. And I think today, he's like, Jones, I beat you earlier today. I can do it again. So now, he's just going to sit in. He's just going to mark him. He's going to get that heart rate down. And at some point, he's going to unleash the TT machine. He's going to go off the front, settle into 5.56 watts per kilo, and he's just going to sit at that for 20 minutes. That's how good Jeff is. I mean, it's not for nothing that CVR, the other race event on Zwift, invited Jeff to come all the way from Australia to race in London. That's how good Jeff is.
All the way to London, and he was there with Lama, if I'm correct as well. GP Lama, Shane Miller was racing.
He was. Shane, that race, I spoke to Shane previously because he had been in town for a week and we got to catch up a tiny bit. He said, this week, it's the UK versus the world. We're bringing Scotty Weiss, we're bringing Jeffrey, we're bringing all these nice guys. You know what? I have my time, I have my chance in Las Vegas. I'm going to go on the front and I'm going to help the other guys. That's the kind of guy Shane is, very unselfish. It was a really, really good move, but in the end, Tim Cartwright. Wes, have you seen Tim Cartwright race?
I have seen Tim Cartwright race, yes. He's quite a strong rider. I think I've actually raced some of the KISS races with him before.
Unreal. I mean, I know spectators out there love to cry wolf and go, that can't be real. I mean, he's that strong. But the thing is, they took Tim out of his comfort zone. They took him out of his own pain cave, put him in London on a verified setup with verified weights, with a verified power meter, and he produced the exact same result. He is perhaps Great Britain's best amateur racer.
Yeah, I think also Sai did a really good effort a couple of weeks back when we had him on there. That was super impressive. He finished top 10, but he did a lot of chasing, didn't he, Jesper? That was probably, out of all the races I'm hearing the feedback from the riders, that was the toughest race I've ever done on Zwift, ever. So that is impressive.
But see, Sai doesn't have a boring bone in his body. He sits in and he goes, well, actually, when I initially caught up with him, he said, Jesper, I'm just going to try and go for the race today. I'd like to get a good result. Halfway in the race, he goes, I'm feeling good today. This is kind of boring, just letting everyone else do the work. I want more than this. Off the front he goes. He gets followed by Pat Shaw and everyone else. He gets caught again. He's like, okay, now I've instigated it. Now I gotta keep going. So he just puts more wood on the fire. He goes again and again and again and again. And he still has something left for the sprint. I mean, that's the sort of racing we all love. Alberto Contador is retiring. Everybody loves him because of his attacking style. Peter Sagan, his attacking style. Cy Richardson, attacking style.
Well said there, Jesper. It was a really riveting race, and one of the fastest races that we've seen out on course. So I'm not sure. We'll have to actually look back at the stats to see how much quicker it was than the other races around the volcano circuit. It looks like Jasper's going to do a little bit of a number crunching there and find those numbers out. But we see Bumblebee outfit in amongst it here. With Keel keeping a close eye on him here. They don't want to let each other get any more distance there. So we don't see Jones dropping back anymore. He's side by side in the slipstream now of Keel, making sure he's using that little bit less effort here and letting these other riders, these other foreign riders, we see Japanese or British, and I can't make out the last one there. But we see these other foreign riders dragging them along now, so that's actually to their advantage. They can get a little bit of a rest here now. We see the heart rate drop to 137 beats, and that 90 RPM, so nice little cadence there, flicking the legs over. So this is Keel we're in on now, so he's sitting at that 140 beats, so that's right back down under that heart rate zone, back down into that endurance zone, out of that threshold zone now. So I reckon Jones will probably try to make sure that we don't stay in that recovery mode here for too long, because he want to try and pressure Keel into making sure that it doesn't just come to a roll around to the sprint. I reckon Jones will be the one to be the aggressor and really take this up to Keel.
Can we just take a second just to appreciate how long Wes kept that going while I was fiddling with the results? That takes, from a guy who does his living on talking for hours on end. Wes, that was impressive. So I found the race. It was on the 18th of July at 10 o'clock in the morning, our time, local time. The race was 42 minutes and 6 seconds long. If we go back and compare that with the latest result on the volcano circuit, so 42 minutes and 6 seconds long. The latest one was, go back here, just press the same one. This is when you're under pressure, everybody. I'm not as good as continuously talking while working as Wes is, but looking at it, the other one was, no, that's the London Classics one. SwiftPower.com, you're not doing me any favors despite being the best resource for results. Here we go. So, the day Cy Richardson showed up, they raced 33 kilometers in 42 minutes and 6 seconds. The week after that, they raced the same course in 42 minutes and 42 seconds. 7 laps. Every lap was 7 seconds faster than the week after that. Just think about how fast that actually is. Wow. So looking back here, we got Jeff off the front. And we got Wes trying to tune into this. Jeff off the front.
Sorry, shooting back in now. It's just going through some other production work there, getting amongst it like Jesper now with his green screen and everything. So we see that Jones is back in the mix here, following Keel. Keel's taking it up to him. We see the other riders come through here to do a bit of pacing for him here now. So we will see Jones try and make sure that he distances himself from Keel. And we see back here in the other group now, Jesper, we see Simpson trying to hold on here onto the back of this group. We see most likely it would be Rupert Walsh applying that pressure now, making sure that he keeps those points in that second position and distance himself from Cook.
It is. He's at the front on the Canyon Aero Road. That nice blood red Canyon Aero Road with the SIP 808 wheels on the front, trying to distance his competitors. They're all fighting. It's going to be so tight near the end. It's going to be heartbreak for 2 to 3 people that do not make the cut for the finale. Imagine all that blood, sweat, and tears. For them, you'd almost consider it wasted if you don't get to be invited for the live finale, wouldn't you, Wes?
You'd almost consider it wasted, yeah, but also at the same time, these races are out here. Some of these races, that aren't probably eligible to get up on the points, or, like Jones is in amongst here. So everyone's getting a really good race and workout from this anyway. And some of these other people in the race have different objectives. Obviously, like I said earlier, they can be using it for the other racing outside of Zwift, the actual real life racing. But most of these riders that are left in here are in amongst the points, so they would be really hoping to pick up points. But at the same time, like Ciano is coming at each week, and now I'm just looking through the results now. He's in 9th place at 118 points. So, and we see Mikey's on 189. So there's a fair amount of difference there. So with that, Ciano is really going to find it struggle now to get into those top 3, especially with Keel taking up all of these points out in front. So Keel is taking that 20 points and it drops back down to 19th, if I'm right, Jesper.
Yes. See, I'm actually, speaking of points, we've had the first change in top 2 for 17 weeks over in the Eastern eCrit. It's now official that the WP Task team hold both the first and the second spot in the Eastern eCrit with Aaron Dunn and Luke Ockerby. Sorry. How do you feel about that, Wes, as being a general manager of the Wolfpack team?
The Wolfpack team, and if Nadsy gets that wild card there, Nadsy's calling for it. There's a hashtag thrown in every platform out there, hashtag wildcard for Nadsy. So it would be a really good advantage, obviously, having 3 in the final. But that's going to all come down to whatever they decide for that wild card. So that'll be up to Glenn Knight from KISS Racing to make that decision. But obviously the people's favourite, the people's champion would be Nadsy. Not biased or anything, but Nadsy certainly does make the racing. He loves to go out and be aggressive. But also you did say earlier offline before, Jesper, about Troy Horfoss is also really likes to take on and make sure that everyone has a hard race when he's in amongst that bunch. And then we have the very, very strong Drew Gin.
Now, if the people's favorite, Nadsy, were to make it, I'm just wondering if WP Task, do you guys have an official kit to wear on the day?
Well, we may have a little surprise on the day. Actually, not a riding kit, but we may have some other merchandise that's been put together from the El Caption. So that could be a bit of a surprise. And not all of the actual Wolfpack riders know that that's happening. So it's out there now, Jesper.
See, I'm excited to see what it actually is. I'm waiting for the day to see organized Zwift racing at a venue. So on one side, you've got all of WP Task in there. I guess you wouldn't be rocking your in-Gamba kit in real life. You'd have a dedicated WP Task kit.
No. Yeah, well, Nadsy's hoping that if we did take out the series that we could get a kit on Zwift. So that's the call out's being put out there. I think a nice big wolf tribal avatar would go really well, like on a black jersey with a white wolf avatar, sort of wolf head on the back of the jersey would be pretty cool. Sort of that tribal sort of look to it.
With the movements I'm hearing within the company itself and the acquisitions made of late, I think the odds of that actually happening are slightly shifting towards the favor. But that's just a certain sense I'm getting from the recent acquisitions of Zwift. So we'll see how that handles out in the end. But I'd love to see. I don't know. I mean, I'm getting used to seeing the in-Gamba kit for the WP Task team. It'd be weird to see them in anything but that.
Yeah. So how that come about, Jesper, is I think Nadsy actually got in touch with Nathan Guerra about some things, and also Shane Miller, and I think it was pointed out that a lot of the riders were, didn't have the code for the in-Gamba kit. It wasn't really used too much. So they said, feel free to use that as your kit. So Nadsy was the instigator of that, and then we all jumped over. So whenever everyone's logged in as a Wolfpack Taz guy, so we do try to make sure that they put that in-Gamba code in. And I won't share that because we want to keep it to the Wolfpack group.
Well, you guys can have the southern hemisphere, I guess the Australian region for in-Gamba. In the Euro region, it's Team Poland that's rocking the in-Gamba kit. So both teams doing that kit proud, as they're both up and amongst. We got Australian eCrit series, and you got Sushinsky and company up amongst it in Europe. Who's going to take it up in America? Time will only tell.
Yeah, America. There are a lot of very young, strong riders in America as well. We see in the Tour of California, usually the young riders are actually upstaging some of the pros with these other sort of pro continental teams over there. So there are some strong riders all about, and Jones will get to take all of those strong riders on in the new competition that's coming up, isn't he, Jesper?
The Zwift. Oh, I almost messed it up again. It's the Dimension Data Zwift Academy. That is the exact name. Jesper, just get a drill and just slowly drill it into your head, because that is actually the official name, because I'll be saying that a lot more. But the Dimension Data Zwift Academy, which is being launched, it's actually already launched now. You can enroll today to sign up. It's not only for under 23. We're mentioning it because the prize, the winner gets a contract with the Dimension Data youth squad. It's not just that, it's so much more. It's the community. I mean, there's so many lone wolves out there on Zwift that all they want to do is feel that bit of community, feel that bit of camaraderie. Be part of Zwift Academy. Have a look over on the Facebook page, do the workouts, chat with people. At the very, very end, you get a nice kit in the game, which no code can unlock, only your efforts. So if you complete I think it's 6 weeks of training with Zwift Academy, you unlock a one-of-a-kind Zwift jersey that you can rock in the game. Isn't that pretty cool, Wes?
So would we see Jones switch out of the Bumblebee outfit? That would be a big question, because Jones is quite committed to this Bumblebee outfit. I'm pretty sure it's one of the first kits that you get. So once you unlock the Zwift kit, then you get onto the Bumblebee. Is that correct?
It is, but see, after the customization update came out, Ollie sent over a text saying, "Hey Jesper, don't worry, I'll still be in the Bumblebee kit. See you next Tuesday."
So Jones is actually tuning into the streams as well. A lot of these races are tuning into the streams because they can use it a little bit to their advantage as well. So the stream may be like 1 to 2 seconds delay on the actual live racing, Jesper, if I'm correct.
Yes.
But even with that slight delay, there is a big advantage of having that commentator in your ear saying who is going off the front, who is going off the back, because that can be time to attack or time to hold the wheel and make sure you hang on.
And with 6Ks to go, we're reaching that final lap out on course. It is time to tune into the broadcast if you haven't done already so, because now they're lighting it up near the front. Jones and Keel, they've laid down their arms. They've smoked the peace pipe, and now they're getting ready to light the good stuff.
Yeah, that's right. And we did see them earlier. They were really taking each other on. They were definitely comparing how long their stems were on their bikes, seeing who could edge each other out. But we did see them just annihilate themselves in the end. We did see Jones on the ropes a little bit midway through the race, with Keel sort of after Jones. I don't know whether he had dropout or something, but he did drop off the bunch there, had to do an acceleration up, and then that was Keel's opportunity. Jeffrey decided, right, he's had to bridge that move across, and if you saw that anyone was watching and hasn't been too much into Zwift, that was tactics right there. So Jones come back, then Keel, Jeffrey just waited for probably a couple of seconds, make sure that he was there, and then bang, went straight away and forced him to chase. And we did see that Jones had to really work hard to come back for that second time. But then we did see them roll around and really just recover here, using these other foreign riders as a bit of pacing here to hold them back from the other peloton behind. And the heart rates are quite low now compared to what we had earlier, that 140 instead of that 180, 190.
I mean, 137. Are you even trying right now, Jeff? Come on, mate. What's going on? I thought this was a race. This is the benefit, though, of having all data on the screen, because in real-life races, I bet you sat in races for a quarter, if not half of it, at resting heart rate like this.
Yeah, pretty much. So that does happen, especially when you're peloton, you're sucking along behind those wheels. When you have to go to the front, though, you certainly do have to start. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. We've got the bell just come under the banner there. So we do
Somebody
have
press
the key bell. But we will see the other riders. They're a little way back here now, so we probably will give them a bell as well, Jasper, if we can flash back to them if they're coming up to it. So for the finale, we did do a shout out to Wendy Superfan, who's going to bring a cowbell along for the final. So we come under that.
Got a cowbell. What are you talking about?
Jasper has half a cowbell. but I think Wendy's going to bring a complete one along for the finale. So shout out to Wendy Superfan. Make sure you do bring one along. If you can rustle one off one of the neighbours down in Wynyard, that would be good.
I thought you were going to say rustle one off of the cows in your local area. I'm like,
no,
don't do that.
Leave them on the cows. Leave them on the
So
cows.
you see Wendy out of the porch going, give me that, come on. No.
No, not going to
Otherwise,
happen.
all responsibility lays upon this guy down below, Wesley Sulzberger.
We do see Jones still rocking that Bumblebee outfit. He hasn't decided to change the Ngamba kit halfway through like I had suggested he should, but we would like to see Jones come across to the Wolfpack Taz. He's actually unteamed at the moment,
He is not affiliated with a team. He is riding solo.
Well, shout out to Jones then. He can jump on the old Wolfpack Taz, but he may want to just stay with the Academy. He may see more opportunity there, Jesper.
I don't know. That's all. I mean, it's a tough question because the Zwift Academy team is such a good part of community, whatever, but you've already raced against all the Australian guys, all the TAS team. I'm not just promoting it because it's WP TAS. It could be Aussie Hop Day, it could be anyone. But the fact that you've raced against somebody, that's the best way of determining whether or not you're going to get along in the team. It honestly is. I mean, half the guys I've recruited to my team are guys that I've either beaten or lost to, but they've raced with such heart, with such finesse, that I'm like, I need to get that guy on my team, or I need to be on that team.
That's a pretty good point, Jesper. I'm sure that that Jones likes the way that that especially Nadsy in the Wolfpack team races, because they probably have a very similar style. We see Jones doing the layoff here, sort of. I don't know whether he's trying to get a bit of a run up for an attack here, but we've seen him do this a couple of times now, so I'm not quite sure what's happening here.
He could be falling asleep. That's maybe what's happening here.
Okay, so we see Jones. We did see him up early, so this is his third race for the day. So Jones maybe just have that pillow on the resting on the handlebars there, nodded off. He's come back to life again now, so he's made sure that he's rolling back up around the front here now, holding in position because this is the finale now. We've rang those mock cowbells and we've rang those car keys to make this the last one. So we will see them come up this climb over that one around that last corner, that sharp left-hander. They won't ease up on the pedals. They won't scrape the pedals. They'll pedal right through and come under that 1K to go banner. And I think they would most likely start their sprint at sort of 400 out. I don't reckon we'll see the 900-meter sprint.
I don't think we'll see a sprint. I'm fairly certain Jeff at some point will give this a go. I mean, slowly that heart rate has come up from 137 to 151. But in a heads-up sprint, I would give Jones the angle. I would give him the benefit. You would
give Jones over Keel.
In a sprint. In a straight-up sprint, I think Jones has shown better.
Yeah, beating Ockerby tonight, and Ockerby is mighty quick as well. And Jones actually got the green jersey up the sprint banner there. So, actually, why isn't Jones still in this?
An hour has passed since then. So the green jersey, all KOMs on Zwift only count for an hour. That way, everyone has a good chance of getting it at some point, and not one guy is going to be hoarding it for an entire day.
Yeah, true. I did know that, Jesper. Thanks for updating me on that. So Jones, probably pretty happy that he's back in the Bumblebee outfit. It is pretty iconic for him. So he's rocking the Bumblebee, and we will see him try to make sure that he does stay with Keel here. All he has to do is stay with him because, like Jesper said, he's probably the favourite to win the sprint.
But he's backing off again now. The most crucial point in the entire race, and he's putting himself at a disadvantage. But he's got to follow up now. It looks like Jeff. No, it's not Jeff with the featherweight. It's the rider ahead of him. So Jones right now, his job is just to mark Jeff, but Ollie does look a bit damaged. Not damaged in a bad way, but fatigued. He's not able to hit that top watts anymore, and I think that the 3 hours of racing, the 3.5 hours of racing he's put out today is starting to catch up to him now that Jeff has got a bit of a gap behind him. But it looks like we're heading into a sprint.
It looks like we're going to head to a sprint here. So, yeah, the other riders back here as well have got to nut it out now. Rupert's going to be taking it up. So, as Jasper likes to call him, Rupert Dupe has got his dupes up and he is taking him on. And we see that is a Cook over the top here now. So, Cook and Simpson up there and showing that they aren't going to let down to Rupe. They are going to take him on. And we will see a real battle line with that second and third place nutting it out.
I stole Rupert Duke from you, by the way.
Yeah, I think I might have put it out there. But we see Jones going now. Here we go. Jones has taken off early there. So that is about the 900-meter banner there because he's just went under the K to go.
No, he did not. The K to go is over there. This is actually 1,300 meters out. The camera angle plays with your eyes.
Yep, so it's play with my eyes there, but they are back together again. So it was a long-range go at it there. So obviously not feeling confident for the sprint because like you said, Jesper, you would pick him for the win, but after 3 races, maybe that morale and a little bit mentally tired as well now. So Keel is making sure he's holding the pace on. Actually distanced Jones a little bit there too.
To watch. He's toying with his prey.
Look at the man bun there. The man bun is getting aero. The Tron bike is lighting up because this is going to come right down to it. Jones is just going to have to bite down now on that stem, hold the wheel, and make sure that he is going to try and come to a match-up sprint because that is Jones's best method to go over to it. And I'll leave Jesper now to finish it off with this finale up on the wheel.
It could be a mistake from Jeff. He obviously looks to be the strongest rider, but he's bringing this into a sprint now. We got Jones on the wheel, but he keeps being distanced 3 to 5 meters out. And Keel has the aero power up. What does Jones have? Nothing. Actually, a late aero power up being popped. Very late. It's actually possible to get back on if Jeff fades. He sprinted with 500 meters to go, but I don't... Ooh, a power out right there. He went down to 0 watts. But 100 meters more to go. Jeff is going to take his 9th win in a row in the Western eCrit. Can any man stop him? But let's not forget. That is it. Rounders up. Sorry, Wes, but we got Ciano back here. Ooh, he's trying to attack away. But Ben Simpson with the aero power up. Is he going to get back on the podium? It's been forever since he's been up there in top 3. He's got an aero. But behind him is Rupert and Cook. And Ciano is not letting up. Rupert, Ben, they all have to get out of the saddle. Walsh is going for it. Cook is going for it. And Ben is going to get robbed on the line because Walsh is right next to him. Oh, so close. But podium goes.
That was close.
Jeff, Ciano, Simpson, Walsh, Cook. That is the Western eCrit top 5.
Well, that was a finale and a half there. I thought Simpson was going to come through with that aero power up. He looked like he had the speed ready to. But the other 2 riders just come up and took that top 3 off him there. So finishing back in 4th place. So really good ride by all the racers out there tonight. And it was a very, very hard battle for those riders going out early, like Rupert going out early with those other riders and then having to drop back. But thanks very much for tuning in, everyone. This is Jesper, my man above me here. And I would like to say thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.